YouTube has been absolutely unusable for the past couple of months at this point. There were some videos, but there's always videos that pop up around certain subjects, and every once in a while you'll see one of the bigger YouTube channels say, "Help, my channel is under attack," or something that you need to do, and it's some big push for a big like campaign or whatever the hell they're doing now. Like, okay, this is my job. It's been my job for over 5 years now, and it's when I've been going steady with YouTube and social media and all this crap. Next month, at the beginning of next month, will be 5 official years right there, even though I posted my first video, what was that, the tail end of August? I even forget about it at this point in time. But yes, there are certain things that I understand, and there's certain things I do not. And this new hype feature on YouTube, I don't even think we even got like a message or anything like that as creators. Like, I haven't seen anybody be able to explain this. Like, what the fuck is it? I have no goddamn idea. The last time we got an update was saying, hey, you can go ahead and swear within the first couple of seconds of your video now, but that'll all be fine and dandy. Don't worry about that. We're not going to demonetize you for that. But recently, okay, like as in the past week or so, I got a message. It's like, oh, one of your videos, one of your live streams from 2 years ago, yeah, it can't be monetized anymore because we combed over it and we found that you swore in it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Nobody's watched that video in months at this point in time, but you decided to go through it and demonetize it for reasons, I guess. But yeah, there's been so much goofy shit. And then especially, right, with the AI Big Brother feature that got introduced in August. What did it come in? August 15th. Things have definitely taken a noticeable change yet again, because yeah, just going back to when those people were saying it looks like YouTube's kind of messing around with stuff, started to see those videos, a few different articles pop up in, on, and around end of May, beginning of June. And I just kind of thought, and as somebody who's been around for a while, it's like, yeah, you kind of go through ebbs and flows, right? It's like, okay, if there's not any of these big tentpole issues that pop up, you might be just lacking subject material that people en masse are generally interested in. It's like, that's totally fine, things come around and you never know for certain, and that's why I cast such a wide net when it comes to coverage. You never know what's going to hit. Like, I could think that a topic is super interesting and have a lot of passion towards it, and it does absolutely nothing, or I might see something and catch it out of the corner of my eye and think that, hey, there's a good chance you guys might like this, so I'll talk about it, and then boom, it just blows up out of nowhere. It's not too dissimilar to the whole Cracker Barrel situation, where I thought, it's like, oh, you changed the logo, that's dumb as hell, I'll make a video on it, and then lo and behold, it ends up becoming my most successful video in, oh god, like definitely of this year, like for sure. And we're gonna go through some numbers here, because YouTube has been fucking around for a while, and yeah, this whole AI nanny over the top of it has really been messing things up. Because the most recent change, the age verification system estimates a user's age by interpreting a variety of signals, YouTube's announcement said, including the types of videos a user is searching for, the categories of videos they have watched, and the longevity of the account. We, as creators on the back end side of this, didn't get any more information as to what exactly they're searching for, how it could impact your channel. It was just, hey, this is coming in. Oh, by the way, we're going to put auto dubbing, so all of a sudden you can, I guess, watch this video in a bunch of different languages. Like, okay, whatever. I'd be interested to my video sound in Ibble Dabble. Then again, I kind of despise the sound of my own voice. But yes, if a user is estimated to be under 18, YouTube restricts the account by disabling personalized ads, turning on a digital well-being tools to prevent young users from being bombarded with harmful content, and adding other safeguards like limiting repetitive views of certain types of content. Really, to lift these restrictions, YouTube requires users to share either a government ID, a credit card, or a selfie to authenticate their actual ages. And there's also something else that they're doing, but when we get to the YouTube side of this equation, because there's one thing I also want to do, it's something I've been talking about for a long time. It was one of the early topics that I discussed on the channel, because it was something that, somebody I was watching even prior to making content, Razorfist, had brought up a long time ago, because he had noticed something about the way that YouTube was starting to advertise themselves, and it was looking an awful lot like Netflix. If you go back to some of those old ads from like 2017, 2018, effectively the UI and the way that they were trying to push, especially YouTube Red at the time, it was looking an awful lot like Netflix. Now, as in recent years, they started to notice that, oh yeah, we're kind of getting more traction, we're getting more interaction, we're getting more views than every other streaming service and several of them combined. So yeah, maybe we'll just go ahead and do our own thing here for a second, but especially over the past couple of years, over a presidential regime that was quite censorious in their approach to reporting against the grain information, specifically about the coup and a certain election that happened about 5 years ago. Google and YouTube, I think they kind of decided that, yeah, there's going to come a point in time where we're going to be propositioned to either get along to go along, or we're just going to get shut down and regulated into the ground. And as such, they have really started to make very public, very prominent, and very, for the lack of a better term, problematic partnerships in order to capitulate and ward off the mainstream wolves. Because over the past weekend, with the launch of the new NFL season, Chiefs Chargers, yes, week 1 game, and Brazil draws 16.2 million YouTube views in the United States alone. Well, I guess the ecosystem, but YouTube wants to go mainstream so bad, and this right here just reinforces that, yes, this is a good decision for them. Getting, what did they get, a Prime ticket or Red Zone or something like that? They got a huge deal to broadcast for the NFL, so of course, getting more live sporting events totally makes sense. Hell, they wanted to have their own network of shows by contracting some of their bigger creators, and that ultimately fizzled out. But this right here, just simply picking up the slack of these dinosaur institutions, totally makes sense, because when it comes to the individual creators, they don't give a fuck. Do you think the NFL is going to run afoul of the AI algorithm? Do you think that they're going to put restricted mode on the people who want to sign up for the big NFL package? Do you think that they're going to be the ones, the NFL that we're talking, they're going to have to deal with throttled view counts? And yeah, might as well just bring it up right here. This is my 2025 numbers that are right here. And as you can see, everything across the board, well, it's all down. But that didn't start out that same way, okay? Because for through the first 5-6 months of the year, as you can see right here, like starting off the year talking about the Sonic stuff, I had to refresh my memory. It's like, what the hell was going on that was actually, like hitting pretty good? And yeah, it was the Sonic stuff, and yeah, you guys really liked that. And as you could see throughout the beginning of the year, things were going pretty well. Obviously there's like ebbs and flows and shit from day to day. It's like, okay, cool, talking about some stuff that people don't really care about, and that's all totally fine. But yeah, every once in a while, you'd have something hit, and that'd all be great, going through April, going through May, and everything's all fine and dandy. And then all of a sudden June comes around, and it's like, oh, 600, 1,000, it's like, and then you'd be lucky, and it all just stays there. Okay, and then outside, of course, the Cracker Barrel video that, just went buck wild. But normally, whenever you have a case like that, like you take a look at the other spikes that are there, you normally get a knock-on effect that helps with the rest of it. But no, as you can see, didn't really help out at all whatsoever. That is clearly YouTube doing something fucked up. And yeah, 24% down in views, 28% down in watch time, 44% down in subscribers. And as for the revenue, I don't really know how that ends up shaking out and all that shit. But to just simply bring up a couple of examples here. Okay, I have that Cracker Barrel video that's right here, and as you can see, yeah, it did extremely well. For me, exactly. It's like, I'm not a big content creator at all whatsoever. I'm exceedingly thankful for the 8,900 plus people on YouTube who have subscribed, because I'm not somebody who's out there shilling going, hey guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe. No, I always think that shit is corny. I don't like it. It's the same reason I don't put like mid-roll ads on any video that is like, the way that I approach it, if it's anything longer than 20 minutes, I'll put a mid-roll ad in it just to compensate for my work if I remember to do it. But if it's anything longer than that, in about 20-minute increments, then I'll put one ad. I'm just not going to go ahead and load my content or even let YouTube recommend that shit, because I don't like it. I don't think you guys would appreciate it. And so one at the beginning, one at the end, I think that that's totally fair. And when the video is overwhelmingly recommended by YouTube, hey man, that's the thing, okay? It gets on that homepage, and yeah, 10,000 plus views are specifically attributed to that. That's a big deal. And then when I do a follow-up video to that, 4 days later, yeah, that's the result. That makes no sense at all whatsoever. A video that has, oh shit, let's take a look. Okay, you can just take a look at the like to dislike ratio, because that's about the only thing that I can look at and go, okay, that totally makes sense. But yes, here we go. Okay, so yeah, that's the follow-up video. 53 views, 1 comment, 7 likes, 100%. Okay, and then even just going back, where is it? Right there. Okay, yeah, 12,000 views. But yeah, 503 likes, 25 dislikes, and 95% positive ratio on that, and then yeah, your follow-up video, and then the one directly after that does what, 1100 views, which yeah, 10% of the big topic, but then you still have an exceptionally good ratio on that one. It doesn't make any sense. But even still, you know, getting quite good ratios on a lot of the content that's out there. The Dragon Age stuff is exceptionally weird because that's a game that has been dead for a long time, and whenever I do talk about it, it's like it does reasonably well, but it's always exceptionally popular. And the only thing that I can really piece together is, you know, whenever I come out and say, hey, look at George R.R. Martin, he's kind of a fat, lazy sack of shit, and if, you know, a bunch of his simps come around and dislike the video into the ground, and that might have a knock-on effect for a week, but I'm still going to do it because I kind of want him to finish the books because I like the work that he does. It's just he has the work ethic of a YouTube community support administrator. But it's insane, man. YouTube is actively stamping all over their smaller creators. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this now, and yeah, as somebody who has been just trying to ride this out for months at this point in time, I love doing this job, but whenever I see shit like this, it gets completely and totally demoralizing because this isn't something that I can actively help. I'm making some changes that are around here. Like you can tell that the thumbnails are a little bit different. I think that, you know, spicing that up is probably a little bit overdue. So yeah, you know, I really like what we have right now, and hopefully you guys are liking them as well. Making some content. I'm looking at making some content stuff heading into the final quarter of the year for the rest of this month, and I'm probably going to be taking it a little bit light because it's been really overwhelming because you try so hard and you're just running up against a wall, actively fighting against something that you cannot and will not be able to figure out. But there's something else that I've seen people point to as well, and I've seen this be put on a bunch of people's channels as well without them even noticing. But yeah, you take a look at this, you just go into, well, you just click on your little icon up there if you're on the homepage. You can do this also on like a mobile app or something like that. I think it's under settings and then general. It's a lot more complicated, but if you go on a desktop like this and you go all the way down and then you take a look for restricted mode and you make sure that that's off. I don't know if my channel's been marked for death when it comes to being in, you know, it could be caught up by that restricted mode. But yes, if you were watching other channels and you don't see them recommended as well, chances are that, yeah, they ended up getting marked with that specific scarlet letter, and they will be theoretically reintroduced into your feed once again if you take yourself out of restricted mode, because that is supposed to be YouTube's big, helpful, AI-supported mode where, oh, you don't need to see any of that nasty content, the nebulously defined nasty content that we won't give you any specifics on how you run afoul of that designation, or if you get favored in the new algorithmic presentation. Well, I think we know the one shortcut, but I'm not working for any legacy media outlet. Fuck that. I'm riding this bitch into the ground because all of you out there that support me, I thank you very much for that and for making these past 5 years so special. So thanks again. And with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. You should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.